covering his ears and like he's like having a little PTSD, right? Like he's not good right now. Is that satisfying your hunger by chance?
I think so. Yeah, it's starting to.
Yeah, I think it might be. How does it make you feel to make Robbie scared?
Almost empathizing with it and feeling a little bit of that scaredness, but then feeling like I'm in control of it, like I'm the one doing it, and just, putting his face in it. This guy who's all strong and, or pretends to be strong, and Akuji she was very like, anti-patriarchy kind of thing. And so like just taking his head and just like shoving his face in his shitty memories.
Adam, you're in this room by yourself because he just kind of freaked out and thought that you needed to be separated because you looked like you were having some kind of attack or something. And so he's put you by yourself. And so you're just in this little like study carrel looking out into the street by yourself. You can't hear any of what's about to happen.
Yep.
Everyone else, at a certain point, and Adam's been in there for a little while at this point, like 20 or 30 minutes. The silence is broken by this phone call. And Coach DeVry is just like he's on the phone and he's takes his hat off, rubs his forehead, right? He's like, oh, honey, you've got to calm down. Honey, whatever you're trying to say to me, I can't understand what you're saying. Honey, you've got to calm down. You've got to speak more slowly. Slowly? What's going? You're not making any sense. Marge, you're not making any sense. Like, please just. And he's like, and you can hear the little ambient like sounds of probably his wife really upset on the other end. He says, just hold on. Okay, just hold on. And he's like, I'll be right there. Just hold on. And he puts the phone down. And he says, kids, I have to go. I've got something going on at the house. I've got to go. I'll be back in 30 minutes tops. So just sit here, don't talk. I don't care. Sit here. Don't move. Don't go anywhere. And just I'll be right back. Okay. I'll be right back. And then he just leaves.
Oh shit. Does the States have that thing where you could dial *69 and it would tell you the last number that called the line?
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah.
I'll do that. Doesn't it usually give you the information?
I think in the US at that time, when you'd hit those numbers, it would just call them back, right?
Yeah. I think it just calls them back.
Well, there was one that would call them back, and then there was like one that was information on the last number that called, so that you could like potentially, if somebody was prank calling you, you would get the information, and then you could call the cops and be like,
well, let's say it's that. It was his wife. It was his own home phone number.
Coach DeVry's in the doghouse.
Chad gets up and he just leaves. He's like, I'm going to go to the cafeteria, see what I can find. And he just leaves.
Paul's like, no, wait, in a really quiet voice, like he doesn't want him to, and be like, oh, that's too bad. See ya.
I think Zach is going to crash into Robbie. We're on little tables, right? Or whatever?
Yeah. Like, yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
I think I'm just going to crash into him and make like the loudest car crash noise I can.
Shut someone down.
All right. Let's see. Room 8 and shut someone down is with cold. So 9-10.
All right. He has no strings on you, so you can take a string on him or give him a condition or.
I'll take a string on him.
He just like whips around on you and like his face is just red, right? And he's like, fuck you, Zach. That's fuck you. And he gets up and he's just kind of fuming, right? And like Fall, you can tell, you've seen this look on his face before, right? His fists are clenched. Like he's going to take a swing at Zach. Like, I mean, he's this close, right? He's this close. What do you do?
I want to do something that is so awkward that he just talks to me instead. Let's see. You radiate so much awkward that it affects those around you. I guess for me trying to trigger it, I put myself between them. And I think the awkward thing is just me asking him a question. Straight up, who do you want to make out with? It's cool.
So what's the mechanically what benefit you get here?
When you ask someone a question listed below, they blurt out a truthful answer. If you want to ask another question in the same scene, you answer your first question yourself, and yada, yada, yada.
Okay, so all right, so let's just rewind. Let's just do it again. So he's there and he's like fuming and he's like red faced and his fists are clenched. He's just like staring at Zach like he wants to just like smash Zach, right?
Yeah.
And
then I still have my hands in my coveralls, like looking nonchalant, and I've got my big, like probably Ray-Ban sunglasses on or whatever. And Faldus is like, "Hey, Robbie, who's the cutest girl in school who do you want to bake out with?"
Julia, but no, shut up. Just shut up. Oh, fuck all of you. And he just leaves to go to the bathroom.
Oh well. Fall, that was highly inappropriate.
Well, I mean, at least he didn't punch the guy. And now, he admitted the truth to himself. That's the first step. That's what they say.
Thanks, Fall.
But I think it's time, to calm down a little bit, right?
So what did your note to Addie say, Paul?
Oh, I wanted it to be something super awkward, like when she got it, it just says, "Sorry for embarrassing you," which like makes it awkward again and
Because
embarrassing.
you threw it, right? Yeah, you threw a paper plate note.
Yeah.
Nice.
But the airplane, is flawless. So
I'm gonna cut to Adam by yourself for a while, right? You don't even know that Coach DeVry is gone. You're just in this room, like trying to keep it together. It's warm in the room. The window's not open in this one. Like when it's really warm and you start to get like a little like drowsy, like you just start to kind of like going in and out or whatever, right? And you turn to look out the window and you see the main drag of Mercy Falls. A couple of pickup trucks go by. A big semi-truck that has large downed trees, strapped to the back of it goes by. It's mostly pretty unremarkable. Across the street, there's a drugstore. And you see a couple of like old ladies go in to do their business and come back out. And you turn away and you turn and look again. And you see someone standing across the street. They are just standing stock still, kind of like you were standing really like still, right? Like they're really still. They're across the street. It's a man, muscular. He's got tattoos, I guess. It's hard to tell at this distance. His shirt is off. His chest and arms are covered with these like swirly, spiraling tattoos all over his chest and arms, right? And he's just staring like into the window of the room you're sitting in, staring at you, maybe. It's unclear.
Yeah, tattoos are kind of cool.
Tattoos are pretty cool.
Yeah, I kind of pick up my pen and I'm drawing a spiral on my arm.
Nice. While you do that, while you're drawing that spiral on your arm, it feels like you're almost like you're having a connection with this guy at that precise moment, right? Like you're drawing this on your arm and like he's a good 100 paces away, but you feel like he's watching you draw these spirals on your arm, right? And then he takes out a mask that looks like a stag skull with horns, and he puts it on his face, and he's still just staring at you. What do you do?
How close is Halloween?
Nowhere near Halloween. It's November, in fact. It's already over.
That's a creepy guy. That's like it's
Keep her cool.
yeah, okay.
What do you not want to happen right now?
Yeah, I don't really want the guy to come over here, but I don't really think there's a risk for that actually happening. Yeah, that's 5.
5. Mark an XP. I'll wrap up this scene really quickly and get back to the rest of the group.
Can I still take my condition from last time? I can give myself a condition.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So how does this...
and get +1 forward, which we already missed.
Oh. what would that have put your die roll at?
That wouldn't change anything.
Okay. We can say you did that.
Yeah. But I guess drug fiend would be my condition. Like,
yeah, because that's what he kind of accused you of, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, possibly.
So that's like something I can act on.
You're standing there. This guy is there with the strange swirly tattoos on his body. You're there, like drawing this like spiral on your own arm, and like you can tell he's looking at you. Like he knows what you're doing almost. And then he puts on that stag skull mask, and you're just like freaking out. You look away, and then you look back, and he's about 10 paces closer.
Are there curtains in this room that I can just close?
There are not, no. You turn, you look away again, he's about 20 paces closer. Just getting closer every time you look. What do?
I kind of finish the spiral and then I stop.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess I go to the other room.
Yeah, you can do run away.
Yeah. I just get up and walk over to the other room.
Yeah, do run. I'm gonna make it a run away since you're kind of freaking out. Roll plus
Yep.
Go ahead and roll that. We'll come back to it.
Okay.
Well, so I guess the question is, I'm going to ask each of you, what are you doing now that there's no supervision? What are you up to, Addie?
So Adeline has just seen Robbie blurt out that he thinks Julie is the hottest girl in school. So I think Adeline is like has snakes try and eye something up to see if they can fit it in their mouths before they try and fight.
Yes.
She's giving Julia that look and approach, but she's kind of like eyeing her up for sure.
Yeah. Is this Gaze into the Abyss?
Yeah, I reckon.
Because you've made it like a snake kind of thing. It kind of makes sense.
Yeah, I am your abyss. Yes.
Yeah, Julia's your abyss. Roll plus dark.
Oh, actually, it's a 10.
Oh, nice. So what do you want to know?
What's the best way to like wrap her around my finger, or like how can I?
Julia, what do you think?
I'm all about bargaining. And I really like to spend time with Adeline, but she doesn't have anything to offer. If she wants to wrap me around her finger, she needs to get control over Adam. Then we could start a discussion.
Interesting.
It is also enough to pretend to have control over Adam. I could be easily convinced, I think, with your charm.
Your vision, the way this is relayed to you, Addie, you have a vision of your family, of Jackie, of Uncle Nicholas, and Genevieve, Aunt Evelyn, and you're all in this like dark, wet, cave-like space, right? And you and Jackie and Evelyn and Nicholas are all kind of like in a semicircle facing something or someone that is laid out like on an altar or a plinth of some sort. And Genevieve, the one who's half snake, she's like rising up, like in almost a sort of like a priestess, right? Because in ancient times, she would have been the queen, right? Because she's like more snake than the rest of you. Nowadays, she's just a shameful thing that gets kept in the attic, right? But in this vision, she rises up and she has like this curved blade, right? And there, splayed out on this slab, is Adam, being very, very still, being perfectly still, not moving at all. And you know that like you're preparing him as bait, basically. Adam's your bait to draw Julia in.
Excellent.
Cut to Zach. Zach, what are you up to?
Now that Robbie's gone, Zach has their eyes set on Julia. But Julia's tricky, right? Because Julia is always very haughty and, has a lot of attitude, right?
Mm-hmm.
So as Julia's distracted by, this stuff going on with Addie, I think Zach wants to walk up right behind Julia and just whisper asphyxiation.
Are you trying to send the signal that like what happened and you think that Julia did it?
Well, I'm just going to try to start a conversation, right? So I'm going to start kind of talking to myself, but to Julia, and go, some people think that asphyxiation can be very sexually gratifying. In the cave, when I felt those warm hands around my throat, it did not feel sexual. It was scary and unnerving. The air was coming out of my body. But that final part where the oxygen was leaving my brain, the pain started to melt away. And that was soothing. So I'm trying to trigger a move from my playbook, which is ending. When you remember details about your death and tell somebody about it, you're trying to turn them on with cold.
That's so weird. I love it. I was like, where's this going? Oh, you're turning her on.
Goosebumps right here.
Slowly talking about like the hand squeezing and and then how the darkness is coming in from the edges and the pain is starting to glide away and that kind of stuff, right? Can I trigger that move?
Yeah, please do. Yeah.
All right.
I 100% agree.
That's a 10 with the plus cold.
You get a string on Julia, and they choose a reaction. So, Julia, do you have your reactions in front of you?
I have them in front of me. I don't get embarrassed, and I don't act awkward. And I would love to promise something I think you want, but you're still like an enigma to me. But I think I know something which you want. And I think you want to grow. I think you want to actually grow. I think I would like to give you a sense on a very cryptic level that I want to extend your name. I want to make your name longer. I want that you are called Zakurunas Art with A-D at the end.
You're going to murder Chad?
Or Adam. Both is possible.
Lots of possibility.
Lots of possibilities.
Yeah.
So I promise to feed your hunger, no matter if it's
in the fiction. What do you just say that out loud, or what? How does that go?
We have a very cryptic conversation, and I just finished all short stories by Edgar Allan Poe. So I use cryptically. Unfortunately, the player doesn't have read all of them recently, but I use all the names from all the characters who have something to do with hunger and lust. And I tell you a couple of details from these stories by looking straight into your eyes and not stopping without blinking, looking into your eyes. And I feel aroused.
All right. How do you respond, Zach?
I think there's definitely the eyes connect, and I'm taking all that in. Right at the end, where I'm realizing what Julia's trying to communicate. That's when I think my brows kind of furrow a little bit, kind of that's maybe not what I was expecting, and I just kind of close my eyes and then turn and walk away and kind of face a corner and just process it.
Nice. Was that shutdown level turn away, or just you turning away?
No, just me turning away. I don't think I was trying to
make her feel bad or anything.
Yeah, no.
We're gonna get to your bursting out of the room there in a moment, Adam. But before we do, Fall, the only NPC left in the room is Shay. I think he's a little younger. I think he's actually a sophomore or a freshman. And he looks as delicate as his name sounds, right? Very fine, small-boned, right, person. He's got that whole sort of what was emo in the 80s, this a Smiths kind of thing going on, right? I think he's got an asymmetrical haircut, kind of with his hair over his eye, right, and all that kind of stuff. And he comes up to you and he says, this is just in the middle of people milling around at this point, a little on edge and acting kind of funny after Coach left, right? Shay comes up to you and he says, hey, Fall, so Chad's having a party tonight, and he invited a bunch of people, and I wanted to see if you would be interested in going. I'm not. I think Chad's kind of a jerk. I'm not even sure why he asked me to go, but I don't know. It'd be great if I had some backup, I guess.
Yeah, like the old times. Let's hit it. Also, I feel like Fall gets kind of claustrophobic inside, he always wants to get out, and it's only getting worse as he gets older and stuff. So I think Shay sees him being really agitated and like fidgety and stuff.
Yeah. I think he'll kind of like put his hand on your shoulder and a very, very like light touch with his fingertips. And he says, "Hey, are you okay?"
Can I do a keep my cool, maybe?
Yeah, if you think it's rising to that level, yeah.
I kind of want the mechanics to tell me if fall is like turned on by Shay or not. Like to have the dice are like adjudicate.
Well, then the question. We'll ask the question. Then, what are you afraid is going to happen? I mean, right?
It's the '80s, so maybe he's afraid that people will think that we're like
that
a
you
couple.
Guys are together, right? I like that.
Yeah,
okay, that's good. Go ahead. Yeah, that's good.
Okay. Cool. Oh, that's a 6.
All right, mark an XP.
I learned something.
He kind of says, "Are you okay? Like, is everything all right?"
I think he like kind of moves into the hand and says, "Today's like a bad day," kind of like referring to his claustrophobicness in school.
Yeah.
Like some days he's okay, some days he's just like wants to be running outside, basically.
Yeah. I think Addie, you're going to notice this the most, right? Because you have a thing for fall. I think Shay knows this about you, right? Like this is definitely something Shay knows about you, right?
I think Shay is the kind of friend that I have that knows more about me than I know about myself.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And he's like, and he kind of puts his hands on your shoulders, right? He's like, hey, look, and he's like, look me in the eye. He pushes his hair back so you can see both his eyes, and he says, "It's going to be okay. Look, we can go outside. I can have a smoke. You can get some fresh air. It's going to be all right. Don't worry about it. Okay? Are you going to be all right?"
Yeah, I nod and I say that sounds perfect.
All right, good. Like, and he kind of like, and maybe you guys get up. I think he just like kind of like puts his arm around your shoulder, right, and your neck, and he's like, and he's talking really close, right, like really close and really intimate, right, and he's like, are you okay? Like, do you want to go home or anything or what?
Nah, I don't need to go home. I don't want to get in trouble. Plus, I don't even know what my parents would think. They're angry at me, if you know what I mean. But
I think everyone sees this, and I'm going to give you the condition. I'm going to give you the condition gay for Shay.
Sure.
Little play on words there, y'all. And and you guys can just go outside. Right, so.
And also, all the other players, just so you know, my other condition is Hillbilly if you ever need to use it to a +1 on me.
I'd also like to suggest that your Musk is probably really powerful right now.
Oh yeah, if DeVry saying that someone was looking at me made me sweat.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think your Musk is really powerful, and I think it's going to hit. Let's say it hits Addie. So how does it affect Addie?
So I have a distinct smell, powerful, perhaps intriguing. When you break a sweat, MC tells you who is aroused and gives you a string on them.
Take a string on Addie.
That person chooses a reaction from below. I give you a compliment. I give myself to you. My eyes water and I gag. I am repulsed, so I ridicule you about your body, and I give you a condition.
The idea of her blurting out like, Adam's totally right. Those glasses are really cool, distinguishing feature that you have.
And I love the idea of you saying it then, because I think we can kind of retcon it, but I think Shay probably asked you to take your sunglasses off, right? So he could so you guys could look at each other in the eye, right?
Oh yeah, and then Addie,
nice.
Yeah, so
and then Addie's like, "Oh, those sunglasses are really cool," right? Yeah.
Yeah, so I think I had like my hand on the glass that I take it off and I just smile and say thanks, and then I think we're walking out, I guess.
Yeah. And as you're walking out, like Addie, you'll see like Shay's got his arm around Fall and kind of doing that like shoulder massage thing, as they're kind of going out the door, right? Like to calm him down or whatever. Adam, you got a 13 on your runaway, right? You are gone. You are out of there, and you're in a safe place. Where do you go to?
Was the room directly adjacent to the library?
Yeah, the room you're in is adjacent to the library.
Yeah, I come in there, but I see that the coach isn't here. A few of the others aren't either. So I ask him, what happened?
Yeah, there's like no one around. Right? Like it's basically just Addie there staring at Fall and Shay as they walk off, and Zach and Julia being weirdos to each other. So
yeah, that's. And then I asked, so what happened?
DeVry had to take a call and he left, and kind of that's it.
Okay.
you guys can tell. You can tell that Adam looks really shaken right now.
Yeah.
Are you okay?
Sure, and I pull back my sleeve over the spiral I drew on
The
my
homemade
arm.
spiral tattoo. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a tattoo yet, but just a spiral and permanent marker on my arm, like you do. There was some creepy dude staring into the window.
But he didn't go to this school or anything.
Was kind of walking towards it, so that's why I left the room.
I mean, I think Zach is intrigued by that, and they're going to go into the room to see what Adam's talking about.
Yeah. This could be a gaze into the abyss situation, I'm going to suggest, mainly because you're intrigued by the fear, right? Is like, what is it like when you gaze into the abyss, I guess? Like, kind of drill into it a little bit more for me. Like, you go in there and what? You see nothing, I'll tell you at the outset, right?
Right. So I think, Adam, you left the room and the light, there was like a light on or something, right? It's not like it's dark in there or too dark, right?
Yeah, I couldn't. There weren't any curtains to close, so...
I think I walk in, maybe the light is kind of dim in there. Is it already getting dark outside? Like, what's the time?
It's like 11 a.m. It's pretty
right.
early stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think at first it's kind of one of those situations where you walk into the room and it's just like normal, right? Like, what's this guy talking about? There's, a couple pieces of furniture and you can see outside the window. It's, the lights coming in and winter day or late fall day. But it feels dim outside. Like there's the light's not coming through all the way, almost like there's shaded window, right? Like that kind of thing. It feels like something's preventing the light from coming in almost like emotionally or viscerally or whatever.
I love it. Yeah, real Stark.
Okay.
And what do you want to know?
I want to know where that fear is coming from. Like I want to see what this thing is, right?
Yeah. Hi, listeners. This is Jason. If you are enjoying Mercy Falls 83, please consider supporting the Gauntlet on Patreon. There are a lot of costs associated with producing pocket-sized play, from editing, hosting fees, music licenses, and more. Your Patreon pledge helps pay for all of that stuff and indeed encourages us to create more pocket-sized play. As a bonus, if you pledge $2 or more, you also get early access to pocket-sized play episodes, which is pretty cool. So go to patreon.com/gauntlet and support the show today. Thanks.